Okay guys, let's get started on the enclosure of our album journal box. So we're going to get started with the main gatefold section first, and then we're going to add the sides and the compartment to this side of the book, okay, the book box. So we're going to get started first with the gatefold, right? So we have two pieces of 12 by 12 and one piece of 6 by 12 that I've just attached with one piece of score tape. So I've just put a piece of score tape and attached it, and a piece of score tape and attached it, all right? And then our main piece is 7 by 10. That's going to be the size of the whole album. So that's 7 by 10. And then the spine pieces for this section are 2 by 7. So you're going to need 2 of those. And then you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 5 by 7 because they're going to be what comes in on the top here, okay? So this is how you're going to arrange them on your cardstock. You're going to put your 7 by 10 and then your 2 by 7s on either side of the 7 by 10 and then your 5 by 7s on the edges, okay? So the first thing we're going to want to do is on the center, we're going to want to attach the big 5 by 7, or sorry, 7 by 10 piece. So you're going to want to do that first. So I've got my glue ready to go here, so I'm just going to add glue all over the back of it, just like so. Just be fairly generous, but you don't have to be too generous with it because it all gets wrapped in, and we're going to attach it so there's about 1 inch from the top, okay? And then we're going to cut off the excess down here after. We're not really worried about that right now. Okay, so now we've got that piece down. Now we can start attaching our other pieces. So this is the 2 by 7 piece for one of our spines. And that's just going to get attached here about, I would say, a good 1/8 of an inch of a gap, because with gatefolds you need even a little bit more of a gap because you've got all those moving parts. So I would say, yeah, a good 1/8 of an inch for your gap. All right, and now we'll just attach our 5 by 7 right next to it, and then I'm going to go ahead and attach the other side the same way. All right, so now I have attached all my pieces and cut off all the excess cardstock. And now I'm just going to go ahead and fold my cardstock over my chipboard. And what I'm doing here first is I'm just training it a little bit before I press it down, just to break down those fibers so that we don't get any cracking. All right, so once you have it folded down just with your hands, you can go ahead and use your bone folder to get a crisp edge on that. All right, so now I've gone ahead and folded down all of my sides. So now we're gonna go and add a piece of our score tape, and I'm using the 3/8 inch score tape. We're gonna add it to all 4 sides of the chipboard and all 4 sides of the cardstock. All right, so I've added all my tape now. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and cut out the corners so that we can wrap the album. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna just leave myself a little bit of my cardstock between my chipboard and my cardstock. So just a little bit, about a 1/16 of an inch. If you can see that there, if it'll focus. Maybe not, but it's just a little bit there so that when we fold it over, we get a nice clean fold like that, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and cut out all my corners. All right, so I've cut out all the corners. So I'm going to start by removing 2 of my short sides of the backing of my score tape and 2 of the long sides here. Really long sides in this case, just like so. And then we've already pre-trained our paper, so it's gonna go down right where we want it to. So just go ahead and press it right down, just like that. And then we'll give it a good burnish, and we're just gonna go do that on all 4 sides. So we folded in all of our sides here. So just go ahead and give it one more nice big overall burnish, just like so. All right, and now we can go in with this flat edge here of our bone folder and just break up those fibers there, right in our grooves. Just like so. And then these should just come in really nicely, just like that, okay? We can add our little spine hider pieces here, and they measure 5 by 6 3/4. You're gonna need 2 of them. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put our tape on both sides of our spine, like so, and we're not going to go all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom because our spine hider piece measures 6 3/4, right? So it doesn't measure the full length. So we don't want the tape to go past where it needs to go. So you're going to put it on either side of the spine, and you're also going to add it all over the back of your spine hider piece. Let's put one more piece there. Yep, so all over all 4 sides of the spine hider piece as well. And then we will burnish them on and remove the backings. Alright, so now we've removed all our backings. So make sure there's no tape sticking out anywheres. Alright, and you're just going to place it down right over your spine, equal top and bottom, and left and right, just like so. So once you have it down, you can go ahead and give it a really good burnish all the way across, just like so. All right, and now we can go ahead and I'm just gonna flip it around because it's easier for me on this side. So just find those grooves, just like that, and bend them up and use the back half of your, or the back side of your bone folder, that nice flat edge, and then just give them that nice bend there. All right, just like that. And I'm just gonna do the other side. All right, so I've gone ahead and covered the other spine with the spine hider piece over here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create our little box section on this side of the book box. So we're going to create 3 pieces. So for those 3 pieces, you need 2 pieces of your chipboard that are 2 by 5 and 2 pieces of your 65-pound weight cardstock that are 4 by 7. And you're going to need 1 piece of your chipboard that's 2 by 7 and 1 piece of your cardstock that's 9 by 4. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap our chipboard pieces. So we're just going to go ahead and add, just like how we did for our album part, we're just going to add our glue to the back, just like so. So just add it right in the center, and then we'll do the other one at the same time. I've already wrapped one of them, so we'll just do the other large one. Just add your glue to the back, and then just add it down just like so. Alright, so now we can go ahead and bend over our cardstock. So with smaller pieces that I'm wrapping, I like to just use the chipboard and bend it towards the paper. I just find that makes it a little bit easier in this case. Just bend it right towards the chipboard. Just like so. Alright, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our cutting before we add our tape. Alright, so you're just going to do the same thing as always. Just cut out your sections, and I'm just going to cut a bit of that one off. Just cut out your corners, just like so. Just leaving that little bit between your chipboard and your cardstock. Alright, so now on both pieces you can go ahead and add 1 piece of your score tape on one of the tops of the longer sides of our cardstock, just like so. And then we can just remove that backing and fold that down really nice and neat, just like so. And we're going to do the same thing on the other one over here, just like so. Alright, and now we've got what we have here. And we're not gonna add any score tape to these flaps yet. Because this piece was an accident. I shouldn't have added that, so don't add that. And then these two, we don't know which way it's gonna go, but I'll explain that in a minute. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna flip your pieces over and you're going to add your double-sided tape to the backs of all your flaps. So be fairly generous because this is gonna be what holds our pieces down to the book box. So we're going to be fairly generous with it. Once you're done adding your adhesive, you can go ahead and trim off any of the extra bits of tape sticking out, because I do, I don't mind in this case some extra bits of tape sticking out, because that means we've got full coverage, and that is what we want. Alright, so now we've got our adhesive all on them. So now you can just go ahead and give them a good burnish down. Alright, so what we're going to start by doing is attaching our side pieces first. So what we're going to do is, if your book is standing up, we're going to go ahead and bend in one of our pieces that has our adhesive with the covered side at the top. And we are going to bring the book in like this and line it up so it's perfectly in the corner, just like so. Make sure it goes all the way to the outer edge and remove your adhesive. So go ahead and remove mine from this backing here. Just like so. If it'll come off. My little guy was in here and he was playing with my pokey tool, so I took it away from him and now I don't know where it is. So it might be easier for you to lay it down and line it up, or stand it up, either way. So just line it up and then attach it. Once you've got it attached, you can lay it down and give it a good burnish, just like so. And then you can bring it in and we'll attach the bottom. So just go ahead and lay that back. And then you still will have to guide it in a little bit, but it should kind of go where it's supposed to go. So I'm actually going to turn the book around so I can see it better here. So just line it up right along that edge. It looks good there. And then give it a good press down. Alright, now I'm going to attach the other side the exact same way. Alright, so now I have attached the other side, and I also, on this side here, went ahead and added a little bit of glue and glued down that flap there. And I kind of realized you probably don't need this extra tape on the outside of this flap, but in my case I'm happy it's there because it's just going to make for a stronger box, but that's up to you when you do your box. I've already removed the little backing piece from this side here, so now I'm just adding some glue, and we're going to just glue that side down, just like so. Alright, so now we've got our other piece that we did with the glue on the bottom and the sides. So for this one, we're actually going to do we're gonna attach the bottom first. So just go ahead and remove the backings of the bottom and then kind of bring it up so that we can line it up right where we want it before we press it down. So let's go ahead and remove these backings in here, because those are going to be hard to reach after. All right. Like I said, you don't have to put the tape on those pieces, but in my case, like I said, I'm not mad about it. All right, so now we're just gonna bring this in here and line it up right where we want it before we press anything down. So then once you have it, just go ahead and press it down in there. Just go ahead and grab a bone folder. Just try not to touch your sides, because remember the tape is off there. Just press that down really nice in there. And then we'll go ahead and bend it back and remove the backing from this flap here. Bring it up and just press it down in there. Again, just grab the bone folder and get in there. Give it a good press down. Alright, and then we can do the same thing on the other side. Just remove those backings. I'm just gonna use my little pick tool here that I found. Alright, so we've got the backings removed, so go ahead and line it up on the corner and then just press it in, and then again we can just kind of lay it on its side and work it in there with the bone folder, just like so. Alright, so now we've got all of our little pieces attached. So to finish covering the insides of the box, but as you can see, like down here, there's still the raw edge, and it's also still on that side there. And then I already covered this here, but it would have been there too. So I just want to show you guys what I'm doing for that. I've just got some black cardstock at 5 by 2 inches, and for here you would cut it at 7 by 2 inches. So I've just cut it, so it's basically the exact same size as our panel. So we are just gonna cover that in some glue, and then I'm just gonna slip it right down into there and just cover that whole section in there. And that's gonna make it look nice and clean anyways, but it will also just get rid of that raw edge at the bottom. So you see now it's all covered in there. So you're just gonna do that on this side, and this side. All right, so before we get started on the album section of our book box, I just wanted to quickly show you guys how I'm gonna do the closure for the gatefold. So what I've done is I've already attached my pattern paper to the 2 front panels, and they measure 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. All right, and then what I've done is I've cut a piece of black cardstock that measures 7 by 1, and I've already attached one over here on this side. So this one's gonna get attached kind of in the same, not kind of, but pretty much in the same spot, and I'm not gonna measure it or anything like that. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. So on the back of this piece, I've already attached 2 pieces of score tape at the top and the bottom, and they're the 3/8 inch score tape. and I've attached them right on top of each other, 2 strips. All right, so now we're just gonna kind of find where we want it there and just press it down, and then just kind of let it fall at the bottom where it wants to, and then get your bone folder and just burnish that down. All right, and then what I've done is I've wrapped a piece of the medium weight chipboard. So the chipboard measures 6 1/4 by 4 1/2, and then the black cardstock measures 8 1/4 by 6 1/4, and I've just wrapped it just like we have been doing. So then this is just gonna slide right under these two, and it's gonna make a perfect little closure for our Gatefold album. All right, so the closure is finished, so now we can get started on our album inside. All right guys, so let's get started on the pages for the album. There's going to be 3 pages, and we're going to get 31 places to put our Christmas memories for our December daily, but they're going to be in the front and back cover of our book and on our pages. So each page is going to have a flap that comes up from the top. So that's going to be 1, 2, and then 3 here. And then it's also going to have an insert that comes out, and that is going to be 4. And then the other side will have the exact same thing, so a flap that comes up. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then the insert that comes out will be 4. So each page will have 8 places to put your Christmas memories. So in our pages we will have 24, and then in the front and back cover we're going to get the other 6 in, okay, or 7. There'll be even room for 32, I think. So either way, you're going to be good. So we're going to get started on our pages. So I'm going to show you how to do one, and then the other 2 you can put together yourself. So for your pages, you will need, your base page is going to measure 5 1/4 by 6 3/4. So you're going to need 3 base pages. So what we're going to do is we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 1 on the 5 1/4 inch side, okay? So half of an inch, and 1 inch on the 5 1/4 side. So you're going to need 3 of those, all right? So then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our pocket on, and our pocket's going to be where we put in our insert, and that's going to serve for both sides of the page, if that makes sense. There's only going to be 1 pocket. So it's going to open towards the side, so make sure when you're putting it down, your opening is on the front of the page, not at the back of the page. All right, so this piece measures 4 3/4 by 7 3/4. On the 4 3/4 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch, and then on the 7 3/4 side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch on both sides, okay? So you're going to score 2 short sides at 1/2 inch and 1 long side at 1/2 inch. And then we're just going to go ahead. I'm going to flip it over because I've already attached my tape and I find it easier to see. And we're just going to cut the corners out. Just like so. All right. And then we can go ahead and fold over our little flaps here all the way along, just to get that nice crease. Okay, and then I'm going to remove a little bit of the backing here of the front side of my pocket and just bend it back like so. And then I'm going to line it up on my page. It's going to cover the entire page, and again, make sure that opening is going towards the front of your page. So I'm going to line it up over here and down here and make sure it's exactly where I want it. Just like so, right along your crease here. Don't go all the way to your tape. Go to your second score line. And then make sure it's right where you want it. And then once it is, you can press down here and remove the rest of your backing there, just like so. And then we can open it and remove the backing here. And here. And then we're just going to lay it down. Just put it right down where it wants to go because we've already pre-lined everything up. So it's just going to go down right where we lined it up, just like so. All right, and then on top of this flap here, we are going to go ahead and, on top of our pocket, we're going to go ahead and add a flap. So the flap measures 4 1/4 by 7 1/4, and on the 7 1/4 inch side on length, you're going to score at 1/2 inch, and you're going to need 6 of these flaps for all 3 of your pages, okay? So, and then I've attached my tape, and I've just snipped the corners a little bit, just so they don't, when we cover it with pattern paper, just so that they don't show. So just go ahead and, again, we're just going to remove a little bit of the backing and bend it back. Then again, it's going to be the exact same size as the pocket we just put down. So just line it up. And then once you have it where you want it, go ahead and place it down. Just like so, and then just go ahead and remove the rest of that backing, and then we're just going to burnish down, and then I'm just going to add a magnetic closure here, just like so. We're just going to add a magnetic closure there. Okay, now we're just going to add the flap to this side, and remember our flap measures 4 1/4 by 7 1/4, and we scored it 1/2 inch on the 7 1/4 inch side. And we're just going to line it up, and okay guys, so now that we've got our flaps on both sides of our page, just like that, we're going to go ahead and attach some pattern paper here. So I've already added my magnets here, so one at the top and one at the bottom, so that it closes like this. And now what we're going to do is add our pattern paper here, and that's just because we need to do the punching for the little thumb hole for our insert. So I'm just going to show you how to add the pattern paper for that. So for the pattern paper for the pages, I'm actually using the 6x6 pad for 2 reasons. One, I really like the smaller patterns for inside the album, and it does have some different patterns. And the second reason is because it does not have the glitter on it. So I like the glitter for the outside and things like that, but for the inside of the album, I prefer none of the glitter accents. So that's why I'm using the 6x6 pad for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attach one of the pieces of pattern paper right here. And as you can see, it doesn't go all the way down. So I'm just using a little 1/2 inch strip to go across the bottom here, like that. So this piece is 6 1/4 by 4 1/8. So we're going to go ahead and glue that on first. We'll just go take the backing off of our tape here. And I'm just using the art glitter glue. And we're just going to put it all over the back of that. Make sure to get it all around your corners. And we're just going to nestle it right in there. There's only going to be a very slight border. And that's because I still want there to be a border around either my 4x4 or 4x6 photos. And so down here we're just going to put our little 1/2 inch strip. So it's a 1/2 inch by 4 1/8. And it's just going to go right there, just like that. Okay, and you're going to want to attach your pattern paper to both sides of your page before you do your punching, okay? So now that we've got both the sides of our pattern paper on, I'm going to use the We Are Memory Keepers pocket punch board, this one right here, and I'm actually just going to use the little notch over here. And I really like this because I find it's very heavy duty and it goes through quite a few layers of paper. So I kind of just have mine kind of at the midpoint on this page, but I'm going to go ahead and do it in different places on all the different ones. And then once I have it where I want it, I'm just going to go ahead and punch down. All right, and then we have the notch, and it's gone through our pattern paper and our pocket in the middle, and then the pattern paper on the other side, and so that we've got our holes all in, or sorry, our notch all equally throughout. So then we just close these over, and then I'll add the rest of my pattern paper once it's all in the book. So now we're going to go ahead and add our pages in. So what I've done is I've marked in at 1/2 inch on top and bottom and just connected those lines right here so that I have a good line to start with. So I've got my page here, and I've attached a 3/8 of an inch piece of score tape on my outermost hinge here. And so this one doesn't get any score tape, just this one. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna bend it back on itself like this, and we're just gonna line it up right with that line and place it down, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and just remove a little bit of my backing here, just because I find it's nicer to line it up first and then remove the whole backing. All right, so just line it up at the bottom first where we don't have the tape. Just like so, and just line it up right with your line there. And then once it's where you want it to be, you can go ahead and press down and then just remove the rest of your backing. And then just give that a good press down, and then we'll open that one. And we'll add our next page right butted up against that one. Just like so. All right, so just go ahead and remove the backing, and this time I'm gonna go ahead and remove the whole backing because I've already got the straight edge to go with there. So just line it up gently, don't press anything down yet. Just like so. And then just work your way up to the top, and then you can press that down. And then we will just attach our final one right here, just like that. Okay, so again, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the entire backing with my gazillion pieces of score tape backing around. So just go ahead, line it up at the bottom, and just kind of let it find its way up to the top, and then give that a good press down on both sides here. All right, so now we've got all of our pages in to our album, just like that. So now let's work on the inside front and back covers. So we'll do the inside front together, and they are actually identical to each other. So we're going to start by putting a nice large pocket on the bottom here. So our pocket measures 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. And on the 5 3/4 inch side, you're going to score it 1/2 inch on both sides. And then on the 4 1/4 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch on this side. So you're going to have 3 1/2 inch flaps. Okay, and then I've already attached my score tape, and then I just snipped my edges like we did when we were making the large pockets in here. Okay, so I've just snipped off those corners. All right, so I'm going to just attach it kind of nestled right into here, and it is it's 1/4 inch smaller than our page, so we need to just make sure there's a little 1/4 inch gap all the way around. So again, I'm just removing a little bit of my backing here, and I'm gonna line up my pocket right where I want it, just like that. And then I'm gonna press down over here and remove the rest of that backing, and then give that a good press down. And then I'm gonna open it and remove the other little bits of my backing. Just like so. And then just lay it down, and it's going to go right where we had it lined up. So give that a good press down right there. All right, and then I've got a flap that's going to go down over the whole thing. It's going to come from the top just like this. And this measures 4 3/4 by 7 1/4, and on the 7 1/4 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch to give us our little 1/2 inch flap. So I'm just removing a bit of the backing and just folding it back on itself. And again, we're just going to nestle it right into our cover. Again, once you have it where you want it, just press down and remove the rest of your backing, and then just give that a good press down. And then I'm just going to add a magnet right here. All right, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the back inside cover. Okay, so now I've also added the pocket and the flap to the inside back cover, exactly the same way we did in the front. So now we have all of our pages in, and we have our little inserts that go into each one of our pocket pages. And if I haven't said yet, the inserts measure 6 1/2 by 4 1/4. So they just slide right into here, into the pockets on our pages, okay? So you're gonna need 3 of those for each one of your pages. I think I mentioned that already, but if I haven't, then now you know. All right, so I am going to go ahead and finish covering the inside of this. And I'm gonna finish this video here, and we're going to do our journal in the next video, okay? So if you haven't yet, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video to complete our journal that's gonna go in this side of our album box.